Hey everyone! If you're loving these stories and want the full, uncensored versions, plus exclusive hotter content, come check out my Patreon. For just $4 a month, you get access to over 440 stories, 2 new parts every day, and way spicier, lemony scenes. Every single story is 100% custom and written by me from scratch, often based on your ideas and suggestions. You can even submit prompts and vote on what comes next. This story, along with several recent ones, was picked by a Patreon poll. Link is in the description or pinned comment. Join us and dive in. Enjoy the story. The sun had long set over Konoha, casting the Hokage Tower in a veil of twilight shadows. Naruto Uzumaki trudged up the familiar stairs, his body aching from the grueling mission but his spirit unbroken. The joint operation with Kirigakure had been a success, barely. Remnants of an old Akatsuki splinter group had been holed up in a misty canyon near the border. It took Naruto's Rasengan barrages and Mei's lava-style jutsu to flush them out, but not without close calls. Mei Terumi walked beside him, her steps graceful despite the faint limp from a wound she'd sustained. The Mizuki's presence in Konoha was not unusual these days. The Five Kage Alliance had fostered unprecedented cooperation. But tonight's debrief was different. Tsunade had insisted on a private, unfiltered report to ensure no secrets lingered between allies. They entered the Hokage's office, where Tsunade waited behind her massive desk, a bottle of premium sake already opened and 3 cups poured. The room was dimly lit by lanterns, the air thick with the scent of aged wood and faint incense. Shizen had been dismissed hours ago, and the ANBU guards were stationed far outside. Privacy was absolute. "Welcome back, heroes," Tsunade said, her voice a sultry drawl. She leaned back in her chair, arms crossed under her ample chest, which strained against the thin fabric of her green haori. Her honey-blonde hair was loosely tied, a few strands framing her sharp, golden eyes. Mei nodded politely, her auburn hair cascading like a fiery waterfall down her back. Her blue kimono-style dress hugged her curves, the slit up her left thigh exposing the bandage Naruto had applied earlier, a reminder of their close moment in the cave. Naruto scratched the back of his head, his whisker-marked cheeks flushing slightly. "Yeah, we're back in one piece. Mostly." He was still in his battle-worn gear, a torn black compression shirt clinging to his sculpted torso, orange jacket zipped halfway, and pants that did little to hide his athletic build. Tsunade gestured to the seats. "Sit. Drink. Then talk. Full details, no holding back." They complied. Naruto recounted the mission step by step. The initial reconnaissance, the ambush in the fog, how Mei's Yotan had turned the battlefield into a molten hellscape. He described pulling Mei from under a collapsing boulder, his Kurama-enhanced strength saving her just in time. As he spoke, he avoided mentioning how her body had pressed against his during the rescue, soft curves against hard muscle, her breath hot on his neck. Mei interjected occasionally, her voice smooth and composed. "Naruto-kun was instrumental. Without his chakra cloak, we'd have been overwhelmed." But her green eyes lingered on him longer than necessary, tracing the lines of sweat on his neck. Tsunade listened intently, sipping her sake. The alcohol warmed the room, loosening tongues and inhibitions. By the second cup, the conversation shifted from tactics to personal anecdotes. "You bandaged my thigh yourself," Mei said softly, crossing her legs to reveal more skin. "Your hands were steady, but I could feel your pulse racing." Naruto coughed, nearly spilling his drink. "I was just making sure it wasn't poisoned or anything." Tsunade chuckled, a low, throaty sound. "Liar. I know that look. You've been eyeing her since you walked in." She stood, rounding the desk with predatory grace. Her haori slipped open slightly, revealing the deep valley of her chest. "This alliance is about trust, Naruto. Complete trust. No secrets." Mei tilted her head, a faint blush creeping up her cheeks. "Tsunade-sama. What are you suggesting?" Tsunade's eyes gleamed. "A demonstration. Show me exactly how you saved her in that cave." The air crackled with tension. Naruto's heart pounded. Mei moved first, emboldened by the sake and the charged atmosphere. She rose from her chair, her long legs carrying her to Naruto in a few swaying steps. Her fingers brushed his cheek, tracing the whisker marks. "You've grown into quite the man, Naruto-kun," she murmured, her breath warm against his lips. Naruto's blue eyes widened, his cheeks burning red with a mix of embarrassment and excitement. "She's so close, her scent, like ocean mist and lava, hot and intoxicating." His body reacted instinctively, a familiar heat pooling in his groin as her hands slid down to his chest, feeling the rapid thump of his heart. Tsunade watched with a smirk, her own arousal building. She stepped behind Naruto, her massive chest pressing against his back, nipples hardening through the fabric as she felt his tension. "Don't be shy," Tsunade whispered in his ear, her hot breath sending shivers down his spine. Her hands roamed his sides, nails lightly scratching through his torn shirt. "Show her your gratitude for the alliance." Mei's lips met Naruto's in a tentative kiss, soft at first, exploratory. Her full lips parted, tongue flicking out to taste him. A soft moan escaped her, her cheeks flushing deeper crimson as arousal dampened her thighs. Naruto groaned into her mouth, his hands finally moving to grip her waist, feeling the curve of her hips through the thin dress. "This is insane, but it feels so good." Mei's tongue, it's like fire. His throbbing length strained against the fabric, the bulge obvious now. Tsunade's hands dipped lower, boldly cupping the growing hardness through his pants. Already so ready," she purred, squeezing gently. Naruto bucked against her hand, breaking the kiss with Mei to gasp. Tsunade's golden eyes darkened with lust, her own body heating up, nipples erect, a wetness forming between her legs. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. They collapsed in a tangle of limbs, bodies slick with sweat and lingering heat. The debrief had lasted hours, forging a bond deeper than any treaty. As dawn approached, Tsunade whispered, "This stays between us for now. But next mission? Full disclosure again." Naruto grinned tiredly. The alliance had never been stronger. 2 months had passed since that fateful night in the Hokage's office, a night that had redefined full disclosure for Naruto, Tsunade, and Mei. The alliance between Konoha and Kirigakure had only grown stronger, with joint missions becoming routine. Trade routes were secured, intelligence shared freely, and whispers of a deeper, more personal bond circulated in the shadows of the Kage circles. But publicly, everything remained professional. Naruto wiped the sweat from his brow as he entered the village gates, the evening sun dipping low behind the Hokage rock. His latest mission had been grueling, protecting a caravan of merchants from a rogue band of missing nin who called themselves the Desert Vipers. These were not ordinary bandits. They wielded forbidden wind-style jutsu stolen from ancient Suna scrolls, turning sandstorms into deadly weapons. Mei and a small team from Kiri had joined him midway, their water and lava techniques proving invaluable in quelling the arid chaos. Mei walked alongside him, her auburn hair slightly disheveled from the fight, but her posture as elegant as ever. A fresh scar adorned her arm, courtesy of a glancing kunai strike, but she wore it like a badge of honor. "Another success, Naruto-kun," she said with a wry smile. "Though I must admit, your raisin shuriken nearly singed my dress this time." Naruto chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Hey, it got the job done! Those guys won't be bothering anyone for a while." Internally, though, his mind raced back to that cave from the first mission, and the office afterward. Has it really been 2 months? Every time I see her, I remember everything. His cheeks flushed slightly, but he pushed the thought down. Professionalism first. They arrived at the Hokage Tower just as the lanterns flickered to life. Shizen greeted them briefly, her eyes darting knowingly between the three before excusing herself. "Lady Tsunade is waiting." She's prepared the room. Inside, Tsunade sat at her desk, a fresh bottle of sake and 3 cups ready. But something was different. The room felt more intimate. Curtains drawn, a faint scent of jasmine incense wafting through the air. On a side table, discreetly placed, were a few items that looked out of place: soft silk ropes infused with chakra sealing properties, a blindfold, and a small vial of massage oil. Tsunade's golden eyes sparkled with mischief as she poured the drinks. "Welcome back," she said, her voice a low purr. I hear the mission was a close call. Full report, start from the border rendezvous. Naruto began, detailing the caravan's route, the first ambush in the dunes, how Mei's Suetun had created a temporary oasis to counter the sandstorms. He spoke of the moment he and Mei were separated from the group, forced to hide in a narrow crevice while enemies scoured the area. Mei got hit protecting me from a wind blade, he admitted, glancing at her bandaged arm. I had to use some basic medical jutsu to stop the bleeding. Mei sipped her sake, her cheeks tinting pink. Not from the alcohol, but from the memory. You were gentle, mostly, though your hands lingered a bit longer than necessary. Tsunade leaned forward, her haori slipping open just enough to reveal the swell of her chest. Linger? Tell me more. Did he get excited again? Her tone was teasing, but there was an undercurrent of possessiveness. Naruto sputtered. Granny, I mean, Tsunade! It was a battlefield. The Hokage laughed, but her eyes darkened. 2 months ago, we established trust. Tonight we test it. Deeper. She stood, moving to the side table and picking up the silk ropes. These are chakra-infused. They bind without harm, perfect for ensuring complete honesty during debriefs. Mei's eyes widened slightly, a mix of curiosity and hesitation. Tsunade-sama, you're serious? Deadly. Tsunade replied, twirling the rope. Naruto, stripped down to basics. Mei, you too. Let's recreate that crevice moment, with improvements. The air thickened with anticipation. Naruto's heart pounded. As they complied, the debrief continued amid rising tension. Naruto described the final assault, how his tailed beast bomb had obliterated the Viper leader. But Tsunade interrupted with questions that grew increasingly personal. Did you think of us during the fight? Of what we'd do afterward? Mei chimed in, her voice breathy. I did. Every clash reminded me of release. The sake flowed, loosening inhibitions. Tsunade approached, rope in hand. Time for the test. The prelude began slowly, deliberately. Tsunade wrapped the silk rope around Mei's wrists, binding them loosely behind her back. The chakra infusion made the bonds hum faintly, sealing any jutsu attempts, not that Mei resisted. Her breathing quickened, cheeks flushing a deep crimson as vulnerability set in. Naruto watched, his throbbing length stirring in his pants. Mei bound like that, it's hot. Tsunade knows exactly what she's doing. Tsunade then blindfolded Mei with the soft cloth, plunging her into darkness. Now you listen and feel. No seeing, heightens everything. Tsunade turned to Naruto, her hands roaming his chest, nails tracing scars. Your turn to lead a bit, brat. Touch her. Describe what you did in the crevice. Naruto hesitated, then leaned in, his calloused hands gently unwrapping Mei's bandage. His fingers brushed her skin, sending shivers through her. I cleaned the wound like this, he murmured, his breath hot on her arm. He dipped a finger in the massage oil, rubbing it into the scar, slow circles that made Mei gasp. Mei arched slightly, a soft moan escaping. Blindfolded, bound, every touch is electric. Naruto's hands strong yet tender. I want more. Her skin flushed, sweat beading as arousal built. Tsunade watched, her own arousal building. She pressed against Naruto's back, her massive chest squishing against him. Good. Now lower. Her hand guided his to Mei's thigh, inching upward. Recreate the intimacy. Naruto's fingers slipped under Mei's panties, finding her slick heat. He stroked gently, circling her soft peak. Mei bucked, whimpering. Ah, Naruto-kun, yes. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. They collapsed in a tangle of limbs, bodies slick with sweat and lingering heat. The debrief had tested limits and forged an even deeper bond. As dawn approached, Tsunade whispered, next time. Perhaps invite someone new. The alliance must expand. Naruto grinned tiredly. The future looked promising, and intensely private. Guys, please don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment if you enjoyed it. It means the world to me and gives me a huge boost of motivation. Your support keeps me going. A month had flown by since the second, full disclosure, session, and the shinobi world seemed quieter on the surface. joint patrols and intelligence sharing between the villages had minimized threats, but whispers of unrest lingered along the borders. Smugglers, remnants of old wars, were rumored to be trafficking forbidden weapons through ancient ruins near the Wind Country's edge, a neutral zone where Konoha, Kiri, and Tsunade's territories converged. Naruto had been dispatched for reconnaissance, with mate Terumi joining as Kiri's representative. But the surprise came midway. Pakura of the Scorch Release, a legendary kunoichi from Tsunade thought long dead, appeared as Tsunade's envoy. In this alternate reality, Pakura had been revived through Tsunade's experimental medical ninjutsu, a risky procedure blending forbidden seals and cellular regeneration, performed as a goodwill gesture to strengthen the alliance. Now, she served as a border consultant, her unique Kekii Genkai perfect for detecting hidden heat signatures in the desert. The mission had been tense, navigating sandstorms, uncovering a cache of explosive tags, and clashing with a small group of rogue nin. Naruto's wind-style jutsu had clashed spectacularly with Pakura's scorching orbs, creating a vortex of fire and gale that obliterated the enemy camp. Mei had provided mist cover, her lava flows sealing escape routes. Close calls abounded. Naruto pulling Pakura from a collapsing dune, their bodies pressed together in the heat, Mei bandaging a burn on his arm while Pakura watched with intrigued eyes. Now, back in Konoha, the trio entered the Hokage's office under the cover of dusk. Tsunade awaited, her desk cleared except for maps of the border regions, a larger bottle of premium sake, this time infused with exotic herbs for endurance, and 4 cups. The room was warmer than usual, lanterns casting a golden glow that accentuated the women's figures. Shizen had been sent away early, and ANBU orders were strict, no interruptions. Back so soon? Tsunade greeted, her voice laced with anticipation. She lounged in her chair, haori loosely tied, revealing the deep cleavage of her massive chest. Her honey blonde hair framed a face that looked eternally youthful, golden eyes scanning the newcomers appraisingly. Pakura stepped forward first, her presence commanding. Revived and restored, she appeared in her prime, mid-30s, with vibrant green hair tied in a high ponytail, strands falling like emerald flames. Her tan skin glowed, contrasting with piercing brown eyes that held a flicker of controlled fire. She wore a fitted Suna Jonin vest over a mesh top, hugging her athletic yet curvaceous build, firm chest, a toned waist from years of combat, and powerful legs. "Tsunade-sama," Pakura said with a respectful nod, her voice husky like shifting sands. "The mission was successful, thanks to your generous revival technique. I owe Konoha, and you, a debt." Mei smiled warmly, though a hint of territorial glint flashed in her eyes. Her auburn hair was windswept, blue dress slightly torn from the fight, accentuating her long legs and pale skin. "Pakura-san brings a unique heat to the team. Literally." Naruto grinned, scratching his whisker-marked cheek, his battle gear still dusty. "Yeah, her scorch release is no joke. We fried those smugglers good. But man, that desert heat. I thought I was gonna melt." Tsunade poured the sake, the herbal scent filling the room. "Sit. Drink. Then debrief. Full details, leave nothing out." Her gaze lingered on Pakura, assessing. The report began formally. Naruto outlined the route. Starting at the Konoha outpost, meeting Mei at the river delta, then linking with Pakura in the dunes. He described the ruins, ancient stone structures half buried in sand, booby-trapped with seals. "We detected the heat signatures first. Pakura's Kekii Genkai picked up on their campfires from miles away." Pakura interjected, unfolding a map. "My Shikutan, heat haze allowed us to map their positions without alerting them. But when they ambushed, Naruto's futon scattered their formations, giving Mei time to unleash her yotan." Mei nodded, sipping her sake. It was synchronized perfectly. Though, in the chaos, there were moments of close contact. Her eyes met Naruto's, a subtle blush rising. "Like when you shielded me from a falling pillar, Naruto-kun. Your chakra cloak was warming." Tsunade leaned forward, her chest pressing against the desk edge. "Close contact?" "Elaborate." "The alcohol was already working its magic, loosening tongues and heightening senses." Naruto flushed, recalling the press of bodies in the tight ruined corridors. "Well, yeah?" Pakura got singed by her own reflected orb, had to cool her down with some water jutsu. Her skin was hot, like touching embers. Pakura's brown eyes darkened slightly, a faint smile playing on her lips. And you were quite hands-on with the cooling, Uzumaki. Not that I minded, the alliance demands trust, after all. The room's temperature seemed to rise, not just from the lanterns. Tsunade smirked. Trust is key. We've established protocols for that here. Pakura, as our new ally, you should experience the full extent of Konoha's hospitality. Mei raised an eyebrow, a mix of amusement and jealousy. Tsunade-sama, are you suggesting? Yes. Tsunade said bluntly, standing and locking the door with a chakra seal. Full disclosure. No secrets between borders. Demonstrate your techniques. Starting with that heat of yours, Pakura. The air crackled with electric tension. Naruto's heart pounded. 3 now? Tsunade, Mei, and Pakura? This is getting intense, but damn exciting. His blue eyes darted between them, body already responding to the charged atmosphere. Pakura hesitated briefly, her tan cheeks tinting. Revived for duty, but this? It's intriguing. Their eyes on me, hungry. I can feel the heat building inside. She channeled a subtle shakutin, warming the room like a gentle sauna, beads of sweat forming on everyone's skin. Tsunade approved. Perfect. Now let's get comfortable. The prelude ignited slowly, like embers catching flame. Tsunade moved first, her dominant nature taking charge. She pulled Pakura close by the waist, their bodies pressing together, Tsunade's massive chest against Pakura's firm one. Welcome to the inner circle, Tsunade murmured, her lips brushing Pakura's ear. Pakura shivered, her brown eyes fogging with unexpected arousal, cheeks flushing under the tan as the Hokage's hands traced her toned abs. Mei joined from the side, her long fingers intertwining with Pakura's green hair, turning her head for a tentative kiss. Their lips met softly at first, Mei's full, soft ones against Pakura's firmer pair. She's warm, like kissing fire, Mei thought, her pale skin prickling with goosebumps despite the heat. Her eyes half closed, a soft moan escaping as tongues touched, tasting sake and spice. Naruto watched, transfixed, his throbbing length stirring in his pants. Holy, 3 goddesses. Tsunade's curves, Mei's elegance, Pakura's fire, overwhelming. Tsunade beckoned him over, and he stepped in, his strong hands cupping Mei's face to join the kiss. It evolved into a 3-way exchange, lips and tongues mingling in a messy, heated dance. Pakura's breath hitched, her body heating further, making everyone sweat. His kiss, forceful yet kind. I feel melting. Her nipples hardened under the mesh top, visible peaks of arousal. Tsunade broke away first, her golden eyes blazing with lust. She tugged at clothing, Haori slipping off to reveal her enormous chest, nipples large and dark pink, erect and begging. Strip. All of you. Let the heat build. Her voice was commanding, but her cheeks were rosy, mind hazy. Mei complied eagerly, her dress falling away, exposing her full chest and smooth skin, already flushed, nipples hard. She trembled slightly, eyes misty as she watched Naruto undress, his muscular torso revealed, scars adding to his rugged appeal. Pakura hesitated, then shed her vest and top, her tan chest bouncing free, perky despite their size, nipples a warm brown, hardening in the air. Her pants followed, revealing toned thighs and a neatly trimmed patch above her heat. Naruto's pants dropped last, his thick length springing free, vein throbbing, head dark pink and leaking. The women stared, hunger evident. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. They collapsed in a tangle of limbs, bodies slick with sweat and lingering heat. The debrief had tested limits, and forged an even deeper bond. As dawn approached, Tsunade whispered, Next time, perhaps invite someone new. The alliance must expand. Naruto grinned tiredly. The future looked promising, and intensely private. The Hokage Tower felt different that evening. Thicker air. More lanterns lit than usual. The scent of sandalwood mixed with the faint metallic tang of cooling metal. Temari's giant iron fan still strapped across her back like she was ready to slice through diplomatic pleasantries if they bored her. She stepped into the office without knocking. Tall, confident, black kimono with scandalously high side slits showing off long, tan legs every time she moved. 2 sandy blonde ponytails swaying like pendulums. Teal eyes sharp enough to cut glass. At 26 she looked every bit the war-seasoned kunoichi who could level a battlefield with one swing of her fan, and right now those eyes were slowly scanning the room. Tsunade lounging in her chair like a queen. Mei leaning against the windowsill, blue dress already slightly askew. Pakura sitting cross-legged on the low table, radiating subtle warmth like a banked furnace. And Naruto, standing awkwardly near the map table, still in half his mission gear, trying very hard to look professional. Temari's lips curled into that trademark smirk. So this is the famous Full Disclosure Committee. She dropped her fan against the wall with a heavy metallic clunk. Shikamaru said I should see it for myself. He used the word unconventional about 5 times in one sentence. That's basically a marriage proposal coming from him. Tsunade chuckled low, pouring sake into 5 cups. Sit, Temari. Drink. Then talk shop. Then, golden eyes flashed. We'll show you why our borders haven't had a single incident in months. Temari accepted the cup, downed it in one smooth motion, and set it down hard enough to make the table rattle. Cut the foreplay, Tsunade-sama. I didn't fly 6 hours to discuss trade tariffs. Silence for half a heartbeat. Then Mei laughed. Soft, melodic, dangerous. She's direct. I like her already. Pakura's brown eyes glittered. Desert women usually are. Naruto cleared his throat. Loudly. So, about the trade route patrols. Temari cut him off with a look. Later. She walked straight up to him. Close enough that he could smell the desert wind still clinging to her hair. Dry heat, sand, faint jasmine from whatever oil she used. You've changed, Uzumaki. Her finger traced the whisker mark on his left cheek. Bigger shoulders. Harder jaw. And her gaze dropped deliberately. Bigger everything, apparently. Naruto's face went from pink to tomato in record time. Temari didn't give him a chance to recover. She grabbed the front of his torn black shirt, yanked him down, and kissed him. Hard. No warm-up. No hesitation. Just pure Temari aggression, tongue pushing past his lips like she was conquering territory. One hand fisted in his blonde spikes, the other sliding down to grip his ass through the fabric. Naruto groaned into her mouth, helpless, instantly hard, hips jerking forward on instinct. When she finally pulled back there was a thin string of saliva between their lips for a second before it snapped. Still tastes like ramen and bad decisions, she muttered, smirking. Good to know some things don't change. Tsunade's voice came from behind them, thick with amusement and hunger. Temari. You're overdressed. Temari turned, ponytails swinging. Then do something about it. That was the match to the fuse. Tsunade moved first, predator fast. She stepped behind Temari, massive hands sliding up the Suna Kunoichi's sides, fingers hooking under the black kimono and peeling it open like gift wrapping. Fabric whispered down Temari's arms, pooling at her elbows, revealing black lace bra struggling to contain her full chest, flat stomach, and the scarlet sash still cinched tight around her waist. Mei appeared at Temari's front, graceful, predatory. She leaned in and kissed Temari again, slower this time, teasing, tongue tracing the seam of her lips until Temari growled and opened for her. While they kissed, Mei's fingers deftly unhooked the bra clasp. Temari's chest spilled free. Firm, golden tan, dark rose nipples already pebbled tight from the charged air. Pakura rose from the table like smoke. Her tan hands found Temari's hips, thumbs slipping under the waistband of her panties. She dragged them down slowly, tortuously slow, letting Temari feel every inch of exposure. Temari stepped out of the fabric, completely bare now except for the scarlet sash still knotted at her waist like a taunt. She looked at Naruto, eyes blazing. Strip, hero. Or do I have to do it myself? Naruto didn't need to be told twice. Shirt gone in one yank. Pants and boxers shoved down together. His thick, veiny hardness sprang up, dark pink head already slick, veins standing out in angry relief. The women stared. Temari licked her lips unconsciously. Fuck me, that grew up mean. Tsunade chuckled darkly. Wait until you feel it. The prelude ignited with deliberate slowness. Tsunade guided Temari to the wide table, clearing maps and cups aside. Temari sat on the edge, legs parted, sash the only thing remaining. Naruto stepped between her thighs, his throbbing length brushing her heat. Tsunade pressed against his back, her massive chest warm against him, hands roaming his sides. Show her, Naruto, Tsunade purred in his ear. Show Temari how Konoha seals alliances. Mei knelt beside them, fingers tracing Temari's toned thighs, teasing upward. Pakura stood close, her subtle heat radiating, hands cupping Temari's full chest, thumbs circling dark nipples until they stiffened further. Temari's breath hitched, teal eyes half-lidded, cheeks flushed. Do it, she rasped. Don't make me wait. Naruto aligned himself, rubbing the head along her slick folds. Then he pushed in, slow, deliberate, inch by inch. Temari's head fell back, mouth open in a silent gasp. So thick, stretching me perfectly. She gripped the table edge, nails digging into wood. Naruto groaned, bottoming out, hips flush against hers. The room filled with heavy breathing, soft moans, the wet sound of connection. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. They collapsed in a sweaty, trembling heap, bodies intertwined, hearts racing, breaths mingling. After long minutes of heavy panting, Tsunade was the first to speak, voice hoarse but satisfied. Well, that was a very thorough diplomatic consultation. Temari let out a weak, breathless laugh. I believe the alliance is sufficiently reinforced. Mei brushed sweat-damp strands from Temari's forehead. Welcome to the club, Temari-chan. Pakura leaned down to kiss her softly. You did well, Desert Flower. Tsunade helped Naruto sit up. He was shaking slightly from the intensity. Good boy. Then she looked at the others, at the sweaty, flushed, thoroughly satisfied group of the most powerful women in the shinobi world. Now. Her voice was dark, promising. Who wants round 3? Temari lifted a trembling hand. Me, she rasped. But this time, I want all of you at once. Naruto's length, somehow, twitched back to life. The night was far from over.